What's up, guys? Frugal VC2 got some really interesting and kind of surprising Algorand news today. Algorand Foundation CEO Stacey Warden had her Twitter account hacked, or X account, however you like to say it, and with some very interesting results. I think a lot of people, I don't think anyone is fooled by this. I know we wouldn't say some of the things that the account said, but it's interesting to look at. Also, someone asking, the founder of Non-Fungible Domains asking, should we cancel governance? I've been critical of governance in the past, so we're going to take a look at that. And a quick reminder about MyAlgo and the fact that it's going to be shutting down soon. We're going to look at that. But before we do that, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button. As I always say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. And we're brought to you by Non-Fungible Domains. We're going to be talking about the founder of Non-Fungible Domains today. Just a warning that they are a sponsor of they are a sponsor of the channel. Non-Fungible Domains is a great way to take all those letters and numbers in your address and make them to a nice, succinct little address. Mine's frugalbc.algo. Makes it really easy to interact with stuff on the Algorand blockchain. Plus, they got vaults and segments. Check out more about non-fungible domains in the link below in our description. And we're brought to you by Fractal Monsters, a play-to-earn game on the Algorand blockchain. You can play the game for free, or you can buy one of the little critters and open up a lot of the functionality. It's a very fun game, and it's basically like a mix between Pokemon and I said Pokemon and Alchemon. Pokemon and Tamagotchi with a little bit of Smash Brothers thrown in. So check that out in the description below. Let's get to the first story. So Stacey.algo, her account on Twitter, Stacey Warden, she's the Algorand Foundation CEO, had her account hacked, and it's pretty obvious that it's hacked. It's not anything that I could ever see as her posting. We won't show some of the bad stuff, but we'll just take a look here because it's pretty weird. So here we are, and we're going to be really careful how far down we scroll because there's let's just say they used the N-word, and we're not going to put that on screen. I'm certainly not going to say that. Didn't change anything about her bio, which she certainly could have, although took the profile picture away. It's interesting. It says, "Come vibe. Appears I have been fired from Algorand Foundation and lost my affiliate." Obviously, that's not true. And then trying to put this thing to bridge your algo to Ethereum, but it has the foundation site. Yeah, don't click on any of these links, by the way, even if it's just for curiosity. Same thing here, trying to get people to go to, is this actually hers? No, it's 30,000 followers. Yeah, this is hers. I just wanted to make sure this was the right account because I clicked on it. Hadn't taken it down before, but so a lot of people are putting out warnings, and I think most people, actually interesting. I might have to take that back. I think they took down a bunch of the stuff. Definitely. Nope, that was hers. Yeah, that was definitely her account. Okay, I just want to make sure because before everything was still intact, and there were some much worse things written on there, including a couple that used the N-word, and now they seem to have been erased. So there's some of the stuff is still there though, so it doesn't look like she got control of her account. But yeah, so it's a little disturbing. Like I said, a lot of people were putting out warnings. I don't think that, I mean, it's better safe than sorry, but I don't think anybody was terribly fooled. I just highly doubt that the CEO of Algorand Foundation is going to use the N-word. It's just not likely. So I think that's pretty clear. But if you just came across the tweet, some people fall for these scams, so it's good that people put it out there. Now, a more interesting story is the founder, one of the co-founders of Non-Fungible Domains. And as I said earlier, Non-Fungible Domains is a sponsor on the channel. I kind of agree with this post, and I want to look at this because he questions whether we should get rid of pretty much everything related to governance. And he makes the argument that it hasn't really been a net gain and that maybe there's a way to put this stuff to better use. So let's just look at the thread and then we'll kind of comment on it. By the way, I really hate how bookmarks work now. So they just made it so it's a lot. All right, so here's what he says. He says, both the DeFi and NFT rewards are failing to bring in new users and should probably be thrown away. And you can see the chart he gives. This is TVL. DeFi rewards are being so massive, undoubtedly help the people and projects already here, but it doesn't seem to be driving new TVL or users. TVL is lower now than January 22nd. And like I've talked about the issues with TVL. Someone else brings this up too, so he kind of addresses it. The problem with TVL is it's one of the levers is price because it's always measured in US dollar coin. So if the price goes down but usage goes up, it might look flat or even like a downward trend, even though actual usage is up. But you can measure an algo too, and it doesn't do much better. Here's an argument. He says, okay, the NFT rewards made no noticeable impact on Algorand's NFT volume, still consistently the lowest 2 to 3 chains that are tracked. The first image is day 1 of NFT rewards. Second image is day 2, trending back towards 0. I gotta tell you, I did a little digging on NFT rewards. I still think they're confusing. There's a new system now, and it's just confusing who qualifies and how you qualify. It looks like if you buy an NFT, you get like some kind of rebate. If you buy more of them, you get more rebates. Thought experiment. I need you to paint the Mona Lisa by tomorrow. If you're successful, you get $1 billion. If you fail, you die. While the incentives are very high, you will probably fail because you're not a highly skilled painter and don't have enough time. What we're fundamentally lacking is an efficient mechanism for public goods funding at scale, and it's a massive deterrent to all the builders in the space. The ones that haven't already left or died, saying we already have XGov is ignorant to the reality builders face right now. XGov is woefully underfunded, inefficient, and gameable. It's not capable of funding 25% of the current projects here, never mind anything new. Most of the proposals are crapshoots, unclear if they are needed, will add any value if completed. I gotta say, I agree with that. It's just weird. You go through like 25 of these, half of them, like, they don't make a lot of sense. Like, I don't really understand what you do when you talk about this. And then some of the dollar amounts are really weird. I've seen people ask for like one algo, so I don't know if is this just like free advertising for you? It kind of looks like it. Yeah, I just, well, I'll get to my comments in a minute on governance in general in XGov. Then we have Algorand Ventures, which is just a VC dedicated to Algorand projects. They still need to care about ROI if they want to be in business for more than a few years, meaning they only fund things with business models where there's money to be made. There are many infrastructure service providers that make a tremendous impact in the space but don't fall into the investable category for VCs, and XGov doesn't have the funding needed to or the efficiency to cover them. Yeah, no, one of the things that came up around this was with Algo Explorer, because it's like, well, it's kind of a service. I don't know that there's an obvious business model, but Etherscan is still around. They must have figured out something. And I've been meaning to look into whether they actually got funding, whether they get funding from the Ethereum Foundation or if they're self-sustaining. But if you need an Explorer, well, now Allo has it. And so do they need funding? And otherwise, how did they, is it part of a project? Maybe Algo Explorer was hoping they would get scooped up by another company, but I just don't know that there's I don't think there's a big enough business on Algorand that they would come in and scoop up something like that. My proposal is stop everything: XGov, NFT rewards, DeFi rewards, and governance rewards. Poof, gone by. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. And he said put X percentage into incentivizing nodes. This will be where the DeFi yield comes from going forward, not governance. Pump the F out of it. You know what he's saying. Put X percentage into retroactive grants pool. Now this is the interesting idea. Apparently Ethereum does this, but it's sort of like, if you provide something useful, you get a grant on the back end. Very, very interesting. You need to take a step back, think about what is actually important for the network long term. Is it boosting volume yield metrics, or is it decentralization and the security of the network, while also ensuring, I think he says, core functions, core infrastructure and services are funded and sustainable. So also, I'm sorry, I really hate when people, if you're gonna do a multi-tweet thread, then keep all of them under 280, because otherwise it's such a pain in the butt to read them. Anyway, I'm making a lot of arguments and expecting it to be criticized on many of them, so I will leave it here. But I believe public goods funding on Algorand as a topic needs a lot more discussion. So we'll get to some reactions to this. But first off, I kind of like the idea of just scrapping. I've not been a big fan of governance. I just don't think it really helps anybody. The stuff that you tend to vote on just doesn't seem that interesting. It doesn't seem that impactful anyway. I don't like that it's required. I think it should be optional. A lot of stuff I'm involved in is optional, like on Lofty. You don't have to vote. You can skip it if you want. Like, why should you have to vote just to get your rewards? Like, the point is to stake it to the network. I like the idea of just, yeah, let's put this towards node staking. We're going to have people bringing in, I'm sure there's going to be pools and people will be able to stake to the pool just like you can in Cosmos or HBAR. And I think it's just a better option. This governance model just seems, I don't like it. I don't think it works well. XGov seems like an enormous pain in the butt, and it's super confusing whether you're still in it or not. And yeah, I haven't liked it. I really haven't liked it since day one. It was okay when it was like brand new and interesting and cool, but I just think its usefulness is minimal. I don't think you really have much influence on this stuff anyway, unless you have an enormous amount of Algorand. And then you know, a lot of it's just being done. Everyone's just sort of bypassing it by going to these like Messina or Folks Finance. So people aren't even really participating in it anywhere. They're kind of doing it through a third party. So let's just get rid of it. I kind of agree with that. You know, I'd love to hear what you guys think. So be sure to leave comments down below. I always like feedback on this kind of stuff. But I got to agree with that. Now, as far as what he's doing, I think just bringing people to the network. I don't know about the back end funding as much. I kind of get what he's saying, but there seems to be some confusion on like, okay, well, Algo Explorer is a good example. Like, if it's not a profitable business model, then it should be something. And Algorand, if Algorand needs it, then it should be something that the foundation contracts for services. If they don't do it in house, then they should probably have a contract saying, hey, for 5 years, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to run this thing, and that's it. It shouldn't be like a grant to go start this thing and just YOLO, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? That seems to be what happened with Algo Explorer. It's like they didn't seem to think that they needed to have a profitable business model, but at the same time, if it's not, like, there's some disconnect there, right? Because if they didn't have a profitable business model, well, why is the Algorand Foundation giving the money in the first place, right? Like, that's something I would think would be important. If it's a needed thing, you need someone to do it, then the foundation should maybe be funding it then, right? But it seemed to kind of exist somewhere in between where it's not profitable. They kind of were relying on grants, but the foundation didn't really think that that was a long-term thing. So I don't know. It's just at some point you have to like figure that out, right? So I don't know. Yeah, I'm much more excited about staking and node incentivization. I think it should have been that from day one. And I'm glad that the foundation realized that that was a bad idea and they got to fix that. I'm very happy about that. I said, yeah, I'm just like, get rid of governance. It's stupid. Sorry. I haven't been a fan of it since day one. Yeah, so definitely food for thought. Let's see what other people said. Yeah, so he makes this point in measuring an algo. And well, look, it still looks bad. He points it out. He puts it in algo. And look, still bad, right? It peaked around summer of last year, and it's just been sort of stagnant. So that's great. I think if you measure it this way, you can see by price, you can see that it hasn't been climbing much. So this person, Roamo, again, says, I have to disagree. Algo's price is only 1/5 of January 2022 price. And well, we already addressed that. One look at the monster rates available through TDR on Pack, Funnyman, and Humble, and the fact that they were also elevated through the entirety of Gov9 tells you what you need to know. Capital is not really responding enough to drive them down. If effective marketing doesn't exist outside the Algorand community, then how are you supposed to attract people from the outside community? That's the other thing. Like, I don't think governance is definitely not going to bring people in. Dude, if you're looking, why would you go to something that's more difficult for fewer rewards? I can go to Cosmos and stake on Cosmos and I'm getting like 13%. All I have to do is like restake every once in a while to put what I'm earning back into the staking if I want. But otherwise, I've forgotten about it for months. And I'm still earning that. I'm earning way more than I would earn on governance lately. So it's like, what's the point? But what I was going to say is that, yeah, this is something I talked about with AJ when I was on his show. I think John and I talked about this too. Like, there has to be a killer app. Like, people aren't just going to come to Algorand for no reason. You come to a chain because there's something on that chain that draws you in. For Ethereum, Axie Infinity was that for Ethereum. There's a lot of people who got really, really interested in Axie, didn't really know a lot about crypto. And you need something like that for Algorand. One of the reasons, and I know my SWE video yesterday didn't do very well, but I still think it's a good video. I think some of the things that SWE is doing, I think Algorand should be thinking about. That ZK login is really smart because it allows people to have a wallet without really having to do all the stuff with a wallet that crypto requires, like the passphrases and all that. It makes it really, really easy to interact with stuff. That's really important, and crypto has to go beyond the hobbyist stage. Computers got really usable when GUI came out and they were so much more intuitive to use. So that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen with Algorand. So we got to start seeing some of these apps that bring people from the outside in. I think it's the killer apps. That's what brings people in. It's not going to be like, oh, we got governance rewards are up 2%, or oh, we got NFTs. Everyone's got NFTs. You need something different. Maybe an NFT that's like above and beyond. Maybe, I don't know, but you need something. You need something that others don't have. You need some kind of competitive advantage. And tech is great. Hey, I love the tech. I love how easy stuff is to use on Algorand compared to a lot of other chains. But yeah, it's not enough. We're seeing that it's not enough. So anyway, let's check a few more reactions here. Mars says good points. By the way, I think you sent me an NFT in my domains. I don't know anything about how to use that. I got to figure that out. Let's see. Incentivizing Algorand consensus participation should be the top priority. And I think that's what they're doing. So I'm good. A robust node runner and hosting solution is required. They do have the one-touch node. I wasn't able to get it to work on my computer. I might not have the wrong kind of node. I'm not sure. NFT rewards have to go towards the community, which contradicts our need to grow the community, which is why they don't work, because the aims are contradictory. That's kind of a fair point, I think. A waste of money, better allocate this to node incentives. So I think there's a lot of support for this, it looks like. Here he's talking about algo value. He says, okay, last one we'll do here is Oyster Pack. He says, I agree with JPEG NFT incentives. XGov is absolutely needed. It's poorly managed. That being said, it's a work in progress and evolving. I think XGov could have, maybe like the grants or the venture funding that they're going to do, maybe like it could allow people, regular governors, to weigh in on it. That's an idea too. And finally, DeFi is foundational for overall Algorand ecosystem growth. For the time being, incentives are required to prime the pump. I don't agree with that. That's the last thing I'll cap off on. Because DeFi, you already get rewards. Like, you don't need more rewards. I'm not doing any more DeFi than I would with the incentives without them. And I don't like that it kind of locks me in. If I'm in a bad situation, now I have to choose between, do I continue with this one and lose the gov rewards, or can I just move it around as I need to? I find that a little frustrating. I don't like locking things in. I know on some, like at Cosmos, you do have to like you have to lock it for like 21 days or something like that, but I'm not moving it. 21 days is different than 3 months. All right, last thing on MyAlgo. This is more of a public service announcement, but you got like a week, dude. Let's look at this. All right, this one is at the very top, so we'll just leave it where it is. Reminder, less than a week left before MyAlgo sunsets. Please ensure you've exported your wallets or transferred your funds elsewhere to keep your assets safe. Yeah, so I had my wallet was on MyAlgo. I moved it to Para. I've actually had it on both for a very long time, because sometimes some dApps wouldn't have support for Para, so I would use MyAlgo instead, or vice versa. I started with MyAlgo and then I added Para. So yeah, make sure you can just import it right to Para, because it's actually possible that you could have it on 3. You could have it on MyAlgo, you could have it on Para and on DeFi. Same account. And it works across all of them. And good God, if you have a MyAlgo account and you haven't rekeyed it, you got to rekey it, man. I got videos on my channel. So do a lot of other people. So search my channel to find it, but you got to rekey. That's kind of it for this week. I just want to put that stuff out there. I think the gov discussion is very interesting. So anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this. And I hope you guys are safe out there. I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.